if you all can just do this with me, please, to help me get energized for this morning. When I say good, you say morning. Good.
Morning.
Good.
Morning.
Good.
Morning.
Well, hello. Hi. My name is Selynne Ancheta, and I'm the Director of Development at the Halsey Institute of Contemporary Art. Firstly, I want to say thank you to the CreativeMornings team for having me be this month's speaker for June and giving me this platform to share my interpretation on this month's theme. Pattern. And also, thank you, all of you, for choosing to be here, because you definitely did not have to be here at 8 a.m. on Friday morning. But here you are, so thank you so much. Cheesy enough, I've been dreaming about a moment like this for a really long time, and really happy to share it with all of you. So about me, I grew up as a military brat. I moved multiple times throughout my childhood. I lived in Japan, Turkey, Guam, Bahrain, and probably went to about 7+ schools. Not your average childhood. Eventually, my family landed in Somerville, South Carolina, 10 years ago in 2014. During my senior year of high school, the vibes were not immaculate back here. You can ask my parents, they're in the back. But to say the least, I persevered and I graduated. Fast forward to my junior year of college at the College of Charleston, I was majoring in arts management. And one of the required courses to graduate is fundraising, grant writing, and arts management. And this class really sparked my interest in fundraising work. After graduating, I landed my first big kid job at the South Carolina Historical Society. Since graduating college, my goal was always to work in the arts and culture, but my dream was to work in an art museum. And so when I saw the job posting for the development coordinator position pop up online, I was eager, excited, and super hesitant. Finally a job in Charleston in the arts, but the salary was significantly low than what I was already making. Shocker. Sorry, go back to the Halsey. Okay. Okay. So what prompted me to take this leap? My gut was telling me it was time to move. It was time for a change, and I knew if I didn't walk through this door, I don't know if it would ever open again, and I don't know if I'd be here right now, speaking to all of you. Also, it's the Halsey. Come on. So I began as our development coordinator in 2021, and then was quickly promoted to the director of development in 2022. But, when we think of patterns, we might think of the easy ones, like red, blue, circle, square. But what about the patterns that, impact our thought processes and our behaviors? Those aren't so easily recognizable. Especially if those patterns are ones that you've learned over time and they've just become learned behavior, or they're just patterns you've known your whole life. And trust me, it's really hard to unlearn those. But I couldn't have recognized these patterns without the help of therapy. I started therapy in 2021 when I was in crisis mode, and and as my therapist says, and that year was full of monumental changes. I was 23, I just got out of a mutually toxic relationship, and I just moved out of my parents' house for the first time into a house with 2 random roommates that have become some of my best friends. But you know, my therapy journey also consisted of so many tears. And it was a roller coaster of highs and lows. My friend, sitting right here, always jokes about how she knew I'd have a good session if I'd come downstairs in a good mood, but she knew I'd had a bad session if I just never came downstairs, and she knew I was just straight up not having a good time. I mean, coming into it, I was a people pleaser, or how my therapist lovingly said, "No, Selynne, you're a doormat." Harsh, I know. But I needed that tough love in my life at that point in my life. Through this time, there were, like I said, lots of tears, but honestly, the biggest thing of all was a realization that my life didn't have to unfold the way it was. I learned a lot about myself, how to understand and regulate my emotions, recognize patterns that were not suiting my life anymore, and I was hustling for my self-worth. I noticed that when I was hustling for my worth, I ended up with the same results: insecurity, low self-worth, low self-confidence. When I graduated college, I instilled this belief in me that no one would want to meet with me because I'm not a director, or I'm not worthy because I'm not a director. And I clung to the status of titles for years, thinking that one day if I was a director, people would respect me. And during this time, I just seek validation from other people just to hear, "You're doing great, Selynne." Fast forward to 2022, when I was promoted to the Director of Development at the Halsey Institute. I was thrilled, I was excited, I was honored. I finally had the word director in my title. However, I noticed that I still have the same thought patterns of unworthiness. But now, I was feeling like a freaking imposter. Like, who am I to be a director? And, you know, after multiple therapy sessions and learning to truly, truly, truly love myself, I realized that believing in your worth is so much easier than hustling for it. Think about it. Why seek validation from others when it's already within you? I believe every single person in this room is deserving of abundance, connection, peace, and happiness. But if you yourself don't believe it, why should anyone else? Food for thought. So I can't make this whole talk about me. So I wanted to also share the patterns at the Halsey that we've noticed about ourselves that landed us in the same positions: burnout, low productivity, anxiety. You know, the Halsey Institute is a small team. We're made up of 4 full-time employees, 1 part-time employee, and 1 quarter-time. That exists. Thankfully, we also have a team of dedicated volunteers, an advisory board, and docents to help us out. This year, 2024, was a huge, it's still 2024, is a huge year for us. This was the first time in almost 2 decades that the Halsey Institute went from 5 to 8 exhibitions a year to 3 to 4, or 3 to 5. This has freed us, completely freed us, to focus more on programming, to enhance the exhibition on view. we were operating on a gallery schedule, and which may have been operational for the staff in 2001, but it's not for those working here today. I love the Halsey staff so much. Some people have young families. Some are starting families. Some of us don't have families, but we have hobbies and passions, we have passion projects outside of work. All to say, we have lives. Which means for us to do this meaningful work, it is required for us to nourish these other parts of our lives. There's also this really notorious belief especially in the arts, that if you're not a workaholic, then you don't love your job, false. At the Halsey, we balance our work lives and our personal lives, so we can sustainably and effectively do our jobs, rather than working to the bone, ultimately forcing us out of the Halsey. At the beginning of the year, we always had an exhibition open. What does that mean on the back end? Well, the small team, like I said, is preparing in December and into the new year for the show that would happen in January, meaning some of us were coming in on our holiday breaks and working, and some of us were anxiously waiting for artwork shipment to come over the Christmas break. We know that's not fun at all. And so then we'd start installing in January, and the show would open January 16th or so, not giving us much time to install. That was stressful. And so this year, our 40th anniversary year, we took a leap and decided to expand our exhibition schedule. We removed the exhibition that was supposed to be in January and decided to replace it with a new community event that you'll see on the screens called A New Year Free for All. This event idea came from one of the amazing brains of one of our amazing interns last year, and we were just brainstorming what we could do to substitute the exhibition. It was a time where we let go, we made new friends in a one-night communal art making event. At the end, people were able to hang their artwork up on the Halsey's walls and kind of have a little exhibition after the program, which was really cool. And people actually also got to bring just different types of art supplies with them, and people just created on top of things, creating whatever that is in the corner. This event was a pinnacle moment for us. The staff felt happier, and this event was the first of many this year that was intentional. The word intentional has been our North Star in making strategic decisions, not just for the staff today, but for those who come after us too. So when we expanded our exhibition schedule, we knew that it would allow us for greater financial resources, and staff resources would be more allocated to a project if we had less projects. So we can give more money, more time, and more love to each project if we have less. And so we wanted the love to be more concentrated. We wanted the Halsey love to be more concentrated. And this allowed us to even more deeply support artists equitably. I don't know if you ever noticed this, but before, our exhibition slots were not equal, which means our artists' work were not being shown equally, and the community wasn't seeing the artists' work equally. This didn't sit right with us, and we really had to think about a way to remedy this. Now, the amount of time artists show their work is equal, and we've increased their artist fee by 100% by referring to the wage standards. If you don't know what that is the working artist for the greater economy. And it is used to ensure that we that organizations pay their artists fairly. So this increases in recognition of not just the artist's work, but the time and the production that goes into it. With this new schedule, we also break the pattern of audience stagnation. We have more time to create intentional programs and events that really engage diverse groups, foster deep connections, and highlight our artists' work. I know I've been talking a lot about breaking patterns, but also I wanted to emphasize on a pattern that the Halsey has created. This year, we're rolling out our first ever annual fundraiser. We've never had an annual fundraiser before. Also, the Halsey is a nonprofit, just so you know. But yes, we have a new fundraiser coming up in the fall. It's called Art in Motion. It's on the screen. And so, like I said, we're celebrating our 40th birthday, and I guess you turn into a real adult when you turn 40. I don't know. And we're throwing down in a quirky and fun way with a free with a free community parade, with the route going through the heart of College of Charleston, and a free ticketed party. The party will consist of specially created banners that we'll install, made by past Halsey artists and local artists too. So some of the participating artists that we have already are Shepard Ferry, Colin Quashi, Brian Rutenberg, Carla Ganis, Jovencio de la Paz, Elisa Harkins, whose work is on view right now at the Halsey, and she was also in Spoleto this year. So you'll be able to purchase, you have the opportunity to purchase a banner from one of these artists, and all at $250 each. You'll definitely want to be at the first one, because when you're at the 10th one, you can say, I was there at the first one. So, so everyone can take out their phones and put in Art in Motion fundraiser on October 26th from 1 to 5 p.m. That would be great. Oh, you guys are actually doing it, okay. Cool, we can all check it. 1 to 5. Hold on. Okay, oh, wait. Okay. To wrap up, I want to touch base about this month's theme. When I was sent the information about today's theme, I did some digging and learned more about columns or threshold drawings, which is what this theme is based on. Columns are traditional geometric or symmetrical patterns created on the ground by women using rice flour, chalk powder, rock powder, and it's done daily in front of thresholds or doors. And said that they're drawn daily in front of homes and temples to ward off evil spirits or to manifest good fortune. But one thing that I found so incredibly moving about this was that there's also this poetic belief about columns, and that that when you walk over these, it's said that the love and the goodness that the woman creating the columns, the love and goodness that's exuding from her is supposed to transfer to you when you walk over it. And I just thought that was so beautiful and moving, especially as it pertains to the Halsey. At the Halsey, when you walk through our doors, we want you to feel accepted, like you belong. never, never want anyone to feel like there's only one type of person that can come to an art museum. Specifically, a contemporary art museum. Contemporary art can be confusing and can be intimidating, trust me. But I want you to know right now that none of us on staff have a background in contemporary art. The only difference between us and you is that we've just had more time with the art and we've had more time with the artist. And that's it. So, next time you find yourselves at our doors, I hope that you know that you belong there. You deserve to be there. Your questions are valid. Your insights are valid.